celebrating together so joyfully. Words pour out from our kind souls. There is no place for inflated egos. This place is home to you and me. Surroundings familiar, a community. Let's write the words from our minds. All those adventures will be sublime. This group belongs to the member poets, caring and sharing those precious moments. Let's laugh together, then share some tears, emotions displayed without anxiety or fear. Quill and Parchment Society, elevating poets, honoring art, enriching souls, celebrating community.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the podcast, The Reading List, brought to you by the poets of the Quill and Parchment Society. We're here sharing the poetry from our group of about 31 poets now, I think we're at. 31 poets on allpoetry.com is where we are, and our group is, again, the Quill and Parchment Society. We're growing. We're bringing you this podcast, and it is brought by all the poets contributing to our group reading list. And we bring them here, we read them, we talk about them, and we discuss them. With that, our group is growing. It's growing at a pretty good rate. We're having some members take on some responsibilities above and beyond, and everybody needs to know you're more than welcome to be part of some things that may not be happening or may not be happening as quickly as you'd like, but your suggestions from the group are very helpful in doing this, and appreciate the involvement. There's three poets within our group that have been promoted to coordinators because of some of the work that they suggested to do. One of them is Merv, who is a poet that come to us with some ideas about organizing things with communications, potentially with print. And that was much welcome and appreciated. Merv, we'd like to thank you as a group for doing what you're doing. Also, there is Yumpy. Yumpy has graciously started to organize and manage our group contests within the group. and representing us with contests outside the group. So that was something that Yumpy wanted to do for all the group to improve the group, and it's very welcome. He's taking the reins and running with it. One of his most exciting thoughts to me and to the group, it's met with positive feedback, is Poet of the Month. And we'll develop that a little further as we get going here and get totally organized. But things are happening that are wonderful. And then there is Harmo, Zach. Welcome aboard. Zach also took a coordinator's position because he is invaluable with assisting with the production of this podcast that you hear right now, organizing the reading list and importing the contributions from all you poets to this podcast from the reading list. Zach, thank you. Thank you for all of us for taking on that added responsibility, and you're doing a fantastic job. We're so lucky to have you, Parchies. You know, this group is such a wonderful thing, and I think everybody's having a great time as it's growing and participating. Zach, you want to say something for a minute? I'll be quiet, and then we'll get started.
Sure. It's just good to be back and commenting amongst you all, Parchies, and reading your poetry aloud. And thank you for allowing me to do that and let me in that way to allow me to access your innermost thoughts and in some regard, and just kind of say them out loud and respond to them, and it's fun for me to do that, and fulfilling. Thank you for allowing me to do that.
It's such an honor, isn't it, Zach?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, it sure is. Anything else, or are we ready to move into poetry?
We are ready for our first poem. And this one is We Both Know It's Not by Aaron Farrow. And I'll give that a read. He gives me a purple freesia kiss. I acquiesce into glittered goo. It's him I want to see too. Ignoring this stone body just to show him he is the twinkle twinkle in my eyes. He is the magic in the division made one, inseparable petaled love of magnolia scent, one in the unity of sight and sound. Our souls, the white astronomers, astoundingly astonishing assortment of amazing. I'm the amateur of waves, since I go with their throes, alive to dead, feeling to numb, unless I'm listening to the strumming of his heart's mandolin. A savory song of thumps keeps me locked in and giggle dumb. With him, I'm better than the former lives of cold regrets. Turn around to face him for another kiss of let's not miss this alabaster ivory mistake. We both know it's not. End poem.
That one took us in a place, didn't it? It sounds very, very hopeful. Well read too, Zach. I like the way you read it. I got from this the beginnings of some relationship in some way, and it is hopeful, and it is alive was the word, alive to dead, meaning to me when I heard those words and I read them, alive to dead meant this potentially has long-term feelings and longevity, and it's growing, and it's fantastic to think that positively, to be falling in love. That's falling in love is such a wonderful thing. Being in love is even more wonderful, and that's the goal when you start falling in love. So I felt like this said some really sweet, hopeful things that are coming about in this newfound relationship. Zach, what are your thoughts?
I thought it was a very sweet poem. There was that kiss that started it off, and it was a very vivid, sensational kiss. I really you had pretty much you had the scent, and you could just you could feel that the speaker dissolve into this bliss, and I like the alliteration especially. We have the astronomers astonishing assortment of amazing. our souls, the white astronomers. So it's like the astronomer, it's so the love is so engaging that even the astronomer is having like a moment of pause. And I like that. And Alive to Dead, it's just feeling just I like that feeling numb, just kind of locked into place and giggling, and it's just very blissful sensation, and it's I guess there's no regrets. I like that feeling too. Sentiment too of jumping into this sort of feet first, really, with headlong into this new relationship that has a lot of potential to last a long time, from Alive to Dead. I think that's the objective, and I really I think that's great. A great way to word it altogether. Really well done.
The optimism was absolutely palpable, wasn't it, Zach?
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely. We ready for the next piece?
Yes. Next up, we have Iron Cage Birdhouse by Anna Papaya.
A puzzle is a puzzle, and it's puzzling to be. Caught up in the yarn as it winds around me. Tighter and tighter, till it hurts just to breathe. What is this thing that I'm trying to see? Weaving and weaving around every thought. Yarn turned to chains, rust turned to rot. Iron cage birdhouse in which I'm caught. Dreaming of dreams which cannot be bought. A puzzle is a puzzle, and it's puzzling for sure. To be bound by a puzzle for which there's no cure. Struggling and struggling, thoughts dirty and pure. This heart is a puzzle I cannot endure. Solutions, solutions, solutioning me. Here is the answer, so clearly to see. The thing my heart needs, it never can be. So I'll rip out my heart to set my mind free. End poem.
Wow.
That's interesting back to back, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
One in, one out. Here we go. What are your thoughts, Zach?
Oh, it was a cycle of it was a vicious cycle of circular thoughts and a kind of a logic that could last for hours. Just kind of like, what is this taking apart and putting together the self, trying to like imagine like this where to go with this puzzle, the heart. I think the heart and the mind, in the sense, are tied together to this feeling of like almost like identity, I think, and there's like almost speaker is unsure because they keep trying to solve this puzzle, and the solutions aren't really appearing at first, and then it just appears that there is no solution, really, that whatever it is can never happen. So ripping the heart out is the only solution to kind of set the mind free, as exemplified by the last line. That's just powerful. Really well written.
It's funny you say that, Zach. I agree with everything you said, but I looked at this and it was familiar to me because I've been friends with Anna on All Poetry before this group came about. I had read this sometime before, and it was so moving to me because it's such a deep, introspective look, and it feels so honest too, brutally honest, in the way it has a hopelessness, a despair to it, but the writer is still working at those things, trying to figure them out, which kind of makes you feel better about it. The refrains, the repeats, they just added to it. It was so easy to read and it rolled off the tongue, and it took such a heavy subject and made it almost like you didn't even know you were reading something so heavy until you got to the end of it and you figured out the scope of everything and what it covered. And it's the introspective look, the look within that depth is so moving. To me, it's a person that is looking for love, that wants to be in love, but has experienced some situations that didn't end very, very well. And they're trying to figure out why and then rectify those and move forward. It is a very, very honest piece that was written, I believe, and a great read from my perspective. I felt like it was a really, really great flow. What do we got next, Hack?
Next up, we have The Lion King, and he's written Elroy. Once upon a time, there was a pregnant woman, weeping, tired, dizzy, walking in pine forest, surrounded by dark, thin towers, holding depressive green clouds. When she passed by the well, she almost fell to the ground due to the weight of the womb she had been carrying. However, a hand did not allow her to fall off. She saw the fiery dragon woman in front of herself as she lifted her eyes upwards. Where are you coming from and going to? I flee to my homeland from my madame because my madame beat me severely, all just because of my proudness from my pregnancy. Return to your madame. Continue to serve her. Pregnant woman got scared a lot. She knelt down, cried, pleaded for mercy. Suddenly, dragon woman became surrounded by a giant fire. A fiery snake with the dragon head got out from the ground, revolving around the dragon woman, rising upwards. Pregnant woman lost her eyes in that fire and dragon. She saw many people burning in that fire, shouting for their mercy. She saw these people eaten alive by that fiery dragon, shouting for their relief. After a while, she saw flying ships arising from that fire, carrying billions of stars, singing to the infinite skies, singing, "We're going on a trip in our favorite flying ship, zooming through the sky, children of Abraham." She saw these ships with sails having crescents getting out of that fire, flying gently to Neverland under the sun. When the pregnant woman woke up, she saw everything as it is, while Dragon Woman was absent, forgot her dream for a sudden, having only one thing in her mind, Ishmael. End poem.
Great read, Zach. You did so well with the narrative there, all the way down to the quotations. I as you were reading that, I was like, oh, I'd have probably read the words "pregnant woman." You did great at that, Zach. Kudos to you. I would have messed that up for sure. But I love the way this was written, this story that it's telling. And to involve a pregnant woman was an interesting thing. I feel like it is a story being retold in a way. So maybe handed down from like Aesop's Fables or something like that with this lesson in it. And the lesson was it just a dream? We're going on a trip in our favorite flying ship, zooming through the sky, children of Abraham. So I looked at this, and as I scrolled down, I was listening to it, and I was listening to it in the way you read it. And I started thinking, obviously, biblical and stuff like that. But then when I scrolled down, I looked at the Little Einsteins theme song. And that is a paraphrase. We're going on a trip in our favorite flying ship, zooming through the sky, children of Abraham. So he cleverly took this and paraphrased the lyrics from the theme song to a kid's show called Little Einsteins. My guess is it occurred to him, I would venture to guess, when he had his kids watching Little Einstein or his children watching Little Einstein, and that catchy theme song got him, and he retold a different story wrapped around that theme song or entwined in that theme song. It's really clever, actually, Lion King. I like that whenever I made that connection, and you made it readily available because it's at the bottom. So I appreciate that. It was interesting, and it was kind of fun to hear you read it. And then when I went back and I was like, oh, Little Einsteins, that makes perfect sense because that rhythm was there, Zach. You nailed it. You really did. Even if you didn't know, you nailed it. So he did a great job feeding it to us and making it real easy for it to occur to us. What are your thoughts, Zach?
I thought it was a really interesting blend of myth and biblical dreamlike imagery. I was just struck by I guess the surrealness of it. There was the dragon consuming those people that were just essentially saved by the fire. It's like they're essentially baptized in the flame almost, and the ships flew out of the flame into the infinite skies. Like that was a really cool transition from fantasy into sci-fi. I was not expecting that. That little turn in the plot there really made the poem for me something completely different. And it took the narrative someplace I didn't expect it to go, kind of into outer space, starting from a fantasy standpoint, ending up into sci-fi and then in biblical. And I guess that's where it ends. And to having all of that in a poem, I think is an ambitious, incredibly ambitious. Well done, Lion King. Yeah.
Absolutely, Zach. You said it. Ambitious for sure, and well done. And kudos to you on the read once again, because I think you nailed it. I really do. It was rhythmic and it was nice. What do we got next?
Next up we have Fractured Homecoming by Deborah Lee, and that's your read.
Oh, lovely. That image is nice too. I hope everybody looks at that image whenever they listen to this poem. Your boots are gone, but their weight remains. I watch you sleep, haunted by the ghosts you've made. Your eyes, once kind, now hold 1,000-yard glare. The smallest sound makes you flinch, your hand instinctively reaching for a gun that's no longer there. I wish to hold you close, to feel your heart's familiar rhythm. Tears fall privately as your demons gnaw their way out. Mine fall too, for the man I love, lost in the horrors of times gone by. We stand apart, two souls drowning in your darkness. End poem. Oh boy. You ready to go on this one, Zach?
Sure.
Pretty heavy.
Pretty heavy, yeah. War, just about the heaviest thing there is. This is palatable. The feeling of loss. In a literal sense, the boots are gone, but their weight remains. That's a great opening line. And you could see in the mind's eye the speaker kind of imagining where their person once was, I guess I was mistaken. I thought that this I think this person is I thought originally that this person was still alive or dead, but he's still alive. I think he's suffering from some kind of PTSD, especially because small sound makes him flinch, so he instinctively reaches for his gun. So that's like a literal, almost hair trigger, and that's just devastating to hear. That any kind of sound would just immediately think that you're have some kind of you're under some kind of dire threat, and that kind of darkness is separating these two, and it seems that the speaker is having difficulty remembering taking care of this person's demons, and the man is having trouble with it too, and they're drowning in his own darkness, and it's separate. It's you can feel this gulf between them, even as they're very close, which is an interesting sort of paradox. And I don't know if they say time heals all wounds, but these kinds of wounds are very deep. So I don't know. It's kind of open ended as far as that goes, but very well written.
Yeah, it was very well written, Zach. It was very well written and so deep. And I liked what you touched on there, because I started the same way as you. I thought this was about somebody who had been deceased, and then as it was read through, it became more apparent that it was PTSD. Whether the person is still there or not really becomes almost irrelevant. But the mention of the gun that's no longer there, I actually wondered when I thought about that, is that saying that the person is no longer there, or they've taken the gun away out of fear of what might happen in a moment of a nightmare from PTSD? So I think it clarifies the PTSD angle for sure in that. And then if you read the quote from the prompt quote is, "People cry not because they're weak, it's because they've been strong for too long." So I feel like after I read that and I recalibrated to that, it made that PTSD angle even deeper, even stronger, even harder. So this is a very compassionate write and caring write, and probably comes from some knowledge or familiarity with PTSD and stuff. So Deb did a great job making this feel like a soldier coming home. And if you know anybody that is suffering or has suffered from PTSD for a long period of time, there are some things that are fairly serious and can be very dangerous when it's bad. So I really like the kindness that this is, the compassion and the sympathy that this is written from. And it really was. It was a kind piece in the end. As far as how it read kind of like traumatic, but it was kind, and that's hard to pull off. Well done, Deb. Zach, we ready to move on?
Absolutely. Next up, we have They Say I Did by Purple Gerbera. And this has a trigger warning of eating disorder and body dysmorphia. Stop eating junk food, they said. It is very unhealthy. I did, so I could be fit. A perfect size I wanted to be. Go to the gym, they said. Make your muscles lean. I did. I felt amazing. Finally, I felt seen. Avoid all sugars, they said. It'll help you stay in shape. I did. I switched to fruits, apples, oranges, occasionally a grape. Slow down on fries, they said. It will ruin the diet. I tried. I craved it, but I obeyed, unable to fight. You lost weight, they said. Gone was the fat. I did. I wasn't chubby now. People surely hated that. You've gained weight, they said. Do something about it. I was trying. It felt like I hit a bottomless pit. Those clothes won't fit, they said. You're not size extra small anymore. I didn't, and it was devastating. It shook me to my core. Maybe eat a little less, they said. You'll get your body back. I did, yet there was always something they found to attack. You're putting on weight, they said. Hormonal imbalance to be blamed. I tried, despite healthy and insecurity, but it wasn't the same. You're useless, a loser, they said. You're stupid and fat. I was healthy in BMI standards, but who's to tell them that? You're not pretty, they said. You're nothing but fat and ugly. I was. Really, I was. Even I would hate me. They said I did. I tried, yet I was a failure when not skinny, only weight to gain, yet a loss. So where did I go wrong? Shall I survive on only air? Will that make me worthy? Will that make them care? Maybe I'll starve myself until I drop dead. will I be more skinny then? Like all they said? Will anything make them happy? Free them of complaints. They said I did, but nobody's content. Ever. End poem.
Oh my. Boy, if that didn't tug at your heart, it did mine for sure. There's something that was in my brain the whole time that this poem was being read, and well read, Zach, too, by the way. I felt there was a very empathetic tone to your voice that was nice. Anytime that somebody is having this struggle inside themselves about, this piece isn't about weight. It isn't about anything specifically to me as I read it, or as I heard it being read and was reading along. It's about self-image, overall self-image, because it touched on, questioning yourself because you're measuring yourself to a standard that is somebody else's. Somebody else should never be able to tell you why you feel good about yourself, because for every single person that struggles with any part of themselves, and we all do to one extent or another, you struggle with a part of yourself that is less than what you want it to be, or not quite what you want it to be. You tend to dwell on that, and you forget about all those wonderful things that you do, all those wonderful things that you are. And your weight or your appearance is not who you are. It isn't. It's not who you are. Who you are is who you are in your mind, who you are in your heart, and who you are in your soul. Who you are in that dark room when you're by yourself and you're looking around and you're saying, you know what? I'm going to be happy today. I'm going to smell some flowers. I'm going to watch some birds. I'm going to do something that I enjoy doing. You know why? Because it makes me feel good. And that is honest. But it is also honest to want to be the best you as possible. But I can tell you from experience, you'll never achieve exactly who you want to be, because the carrot will always be in front of you. Just be happy. That's the fun thing, is when you get to the point where you accept you, and those doctors don't know everything. BMI isn't the only stick that measures health. There's mental health. There's physical health, obviously, but there's spiritual health and all of that. And I think this piece is very beautiful in the honesty of the frustration. Well done. I really enjoyed it. Zach, what are your thoughts?
I thought this was a very it was like a sinking feeling, a sadness to it. There was a ramping up of intensity from the speaker, dwelling on what others just, I mean, giving unnecessarily just kind of, I don't even know how to word decent kinds of instructions. These are just awful kinds of ways to kind of force certain thoughts upon people in increasingly devastated ways, and the acquiescence to that is heart wrenching. You can see the push and the pull of like you can differentiate between who's speaking, but who's the commanding voice of the others, kind of like asking these unnecessary things of the speaker, and they just take until there is something that's diminished, but there's something that they'd want to be diminished, but it's, of course, this is the person, so they just don't see past the individuality of this person. They only see what's on the surface, and their expectations are just thwarted by this person in the end. I think I would think I think it's what Bill was saying about acceptance earlier. I think it's about that in the end, even though it kind of ends in a kind of a hard sort of place, but nobody's ever content ever. I still think there's like a recognition there, a realization that nobody's content. So I think that point right there is a potential turning point. So if that poem were to continue, I would say that it would start on a new leaf, I think, because a realization has been made at this point, an epiphany. I think it's very well written.
Your point there at the end, Zach, if you don't mind me touching on it.
Not at all.
Your point there at the end with if this poem was to continue, I feel like this poem will continue.
Right.
Because it's heading that direction, just like you said. So there may be a second half coming, 6 months, year and a half, however long, where it's going to be the joy of that relief. Well said, Zach. I really wanted to hammer that home because you made that point and it was perfect. It's coming. So we're ready to move on. I'm sorry to interrupt.
Oh, no, not at all, man.
I really felt like I agreed with that so much I had to say it out.
Next up is Confused Lambda, and she wrote Transcendence.
She doesn't walk. She splinters pavement with bare heels. She didn't arrive. She entered, like a shift in pressure you can't quite name until your skin remembers how to flinch. Breathe like smoke off a smoldering engine, heart being syncopated, not with rhythm, but rupture. They move in packs like flocks obeying wind. She leans into the gust until it shifts. Not louder, heavier, like the weight of thunder, just before it breaks. Nothing about her asked for space. She just breathed, and the walls forgot how to hold shape. No banner, no blaze, just the quiet violence of someone who no longer folds. They walked in rows, neat, rehearsed. She stepped sideways, cut diagonals through their straight lines. Not to lead, not to follow, just to move, without apology. No war paint, no anthem, but her presence was protest just the same. They say too much, they say. Hard love, they say. Why can't you be more like? But she didn't answer. Too busy rewriting silence into something that didn't ask permission to echo. When she left, no one said a word, but everything she touched was still humming. Her eyes glazed over her, never through. She spoke in sparks and never slowed down, long enough to be translated. They called it defiance. It wasn't. Just the gravity of something not built to orbit. In rooms designed for stillness, her silence took up the most space. No rebellion, just refusal to dim. End poem. Zach, what do you think of that one?
Oh, wow. Yeah, wow. This person has a way of walking, her movements amplified and precise. There's like a stormy aura about the person that the speaker is observing. This gait. This person doesn't just walk. She cuts like diagonals and lines in pavement, and she splinters it with bare heels. And that's a cool image. And her silence is just all calm and storm at the same time. I think just the way she moves is almost like the wind, and like her silence is betrays what could be like underneath that, what could potentially be the sparks, as it was said, and never slowed down long enough to be translated. So that's a very unique. This is a very unique person that is being observed, and I really like that. No rebellion, just refusal to dim. So just an individual, just a complete individual, who marches to the beat of their own drum. Essentially, I really enjoyed this. What did you think, Bo?
Oh, I felt the same way. So I had a hint of what this was. There was a couple of things. The overall tone I recognized, okay? And then when we were done here, I looked down at the author's notes, and this was written for a contest prompt. And the contest prompt is the passion that lies inside of you means you don't need to follow the pack because you transcend it. Prince. So this was written for a prince. Makes a whole lot. Zach, I swear, I knew when I read that out loud, you were going to go, because it makes sense, doesn't it?
Yes.
This is so well done because it reeked of Prince before I even knew. It did. And that is very hard to do. Kudos, Confused Lambda. You weren't confused on this one. You got it absolutely right. I love this. I could see Prince in his purple velvet and heels jumping up and down on the stage, playing every instrument and entertaining unabashedly and unapologetically who he was, and transcribing that feeling, that aura, that way of being, and applying it to yourself, Confused Lambda, I'm guessing, applying it to yourself or someone that is a fictitious character even, and describing them this way as they enter a room and they don't even notice there's anybody in the room, yet they own the entire room. That is amazing. That is a power of personality, a power of persona, an aura that very few people live their lives and ever achieve. And Prince was one that did. He owned every room he ever entered. Well done. I really enjoyed this. This was a really good piece. I really enjoyed it. I seen is it a front page pick as well? I think it may have been a front page pick, and that makes absolute sense. I'm so excited I can't even tell. It was a great one. It was so much fun. All right, Zach, what do we got now? I suppose we've got to move on, don't we?
All right. Next up, we have Autumn Hope, September Blues.
Is that mine, Zach?
Yes.
I thought so. I wasn't sure. I was still stuck on Prince. What do you do when flowers don't bloom? The sun doesn't shine in your room. You feel icky. All it does is rain. All day and night. Happiness disappear overnight. Sorry, but all the year round, I have been dreading the day that autumn comes my way. A direction of September blues. Midsummer's dream. Afraid of the people in leaves. End poem. Your thoughts, Zach?
Ooh, man. Yeah, there's this kind of is like feels like almost like a seasonal depression. When flowers don't bloom, there's a certain when the sun kind of changes seasonally, it doesn't feel the same outside. It doesn't feel the same inside either. And this poem highlights how it feels as the cycle, nature cycle kind of continues. Sometimes you do feel icky, as the speaker does. And in this sense, all it does is rain. So I get, I mean, all day and night. So I think in a way, this blues, this cloud is a metaphorical kind of depression that's hanging over the speaker. And happiness has disappeared. And then all of a sudden it's like overnight, but then like the whole year round, it's like this whole cloud has been hanging over the speaker. So it not only stretches into this September, but this particular bout seems to be pretty severe. Dreading the day this autumn comes, because you don't know how long it's going to last. I think the speaker fears it. Afraid of the people in leaves. That is, I think that's my favorite phrase of the poem. That one stood out to me the most. Just there's a certain. Does that mean like? I don't know if this person is, or the speaker is essentially afraid of like crowds, or is it like something else? A people in leaves, or I think it just might mean a reference to autumn, the leaves and the people that walk on the leaves. But I just really like the way that sounds. Afraid of the people in leaves. Yeah.
So, Zach, I like what you said there, and you pointing out the afraid of the people in leaves is something that I worked on for a minute, and being able to go second, I have a little advantage. I guess I thought I got to process it a little bit longer to some things, and you were headed that way. I know you were. I felt like when the first line that really grabbed me, the first phrase that really grabbed me was "you feel icky." You mentioned it too. You feel icky. Isn't icky just a wonderful word for an unexplainable yuck that comes over you and hovers and stays? I really like that. It actually made me almost giggle because it was so poignant. It was well placed too, right there. But then as you get down, he's describing these things, and you get down to afraid of the people in leaves. Whenever I processed that, when I had time to think about it for a second, I started thinking, maybe this writer works in a place that is, or lives in a place, and his work is very seasonal. So touristy and things like that. And when the tourists are there, everything's exciting and wonderful in the summer. And then when September comes and summer's going away and fall comes in, all those tourists don't show up anymore. And we're down to a community that is less viral. I'm sorry, less vibrant is what I meant, and virile. And I tried to combine the two. But it felt like it was a seasonal thing, and the emotions of the tourists not being there maybe causes this sadness and this slowdown in the community where there isn't as much money and income and excitement, and the weather's not as good either, quite simply. So I felt like particularly those two lines and the way he filled in between those two lines, he really had a hold of us. He took us to a place that is in our own heads, but he wrote it and guided us there. It was well done. For a very short piece, it was well done, Autumn Hope, and great comments too, Zach. What do we got now?
Next up, we have Equine and The Pleasures of Being a Luddite. And I'll give this one a read.
Anne's closing the show. Awesome.
Yeah.
Here we go, Zach.
Smelling the leather of a well-bound book, marbled fly-leaves and gilded drop leathers on the front and spine, reading books on history and animals and classic books and poetry that rhymes, the sound and look of a polished wooden clock with Westminster chimes, grandfather clock on the wall going tick-tock, then ding-dong, 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 dong-dong, pendulums swinging to and fro, tap-tap, tapping of the typewriter keys, ringing of the bell when you go on to the next line, having a pocket watch in your pocket, not feeling the tightness of the watch on your wrist, being able to listen to music when you're not singing, or listening to live music with no batteries wasted, the beauty of a gramophone playing records, people singing along and dancing, fountain pens or quills scratching paper, writing as a work of art, elegant calligraphy styles, marble-fronted fireplaces, realistic paintings, drawing and painting, molding blocks of clay, making cups, pots, mugs, or plates the old way, sewing glamorous embroideries, knitting scarves or dishcloths, weaving through warp and weft to make a table mat. M. Paul.
I hope that one was as fun to read as it was to listen to, Zach. I'm going to start here. I'm going to start in the middle instead of the beginning or the end. The grandfather clock on the wall going tick-tock, then TikTok just being a single line to emphasize that, like its beginning. And it's almost like some craziness ensues after that, some silliness, just some fun. It goes TikTok, then ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. Then she changed it to dog dog. And that, to me, that was so funny. And you got it, Zach. You read it so well. I may have messed that up. I'm going to be honest with you, but you did not. You got it exactly right. Well done. And well written. That part of it just made me smile. I don't know why. I heard the clock. It's what I heard. But it's so neat how she played around here. And I felt like this felt like jazz music to me. It did. It kind of went several different places, but it was so nice that way. You were like, oh, I'm up, I'm down, I'm left, I'm right, I'm everywhere. It just took you everywhere. And it was so much fun in that way. But then I went down and I read her author's notes too. And it says, I know the style of poem doesn't really go with the subject of the poem, but I was just experimenting here. I felt like she did really good with the experimentation because it was so much fun. And it made everything was so, I don't know, light and fluffy, but it was not like a limerick light. It was like a serious contemplation light. And she's just describing so many things so well. It was really well done, and it was fun to listen to. It really was, Zach. I can't wait till you do the playback and you listen to yourself because it was fun to hear. What are your thoughts, man?
Yeah, it was delightful. I liked to read about the sounds the most. We have like the chimes of clocks, the typewriter keys, just everything going wild and crazy at once. Like a lot of detail on this one. A lot of concrete details. You have in the lack of electricity too. There's that too. I like that. This is kind of as the speaker says. I think something about living the old way. Making pots, mugs, or plates the old way. And this old way sounds awesome. Listening to live music with no batteries wasted. And that's a great sound too. And gramophone records, and it's you have singing, writing, readings, dancing, like clocks. There's a lot going on here, but it all like combines together in kind of like this like smorgasbord. It does really feel like jazz, like it kind of like solos along in a way, and I really like what it does, and where it ends up with the crafting, sort of making things the old way, and that's where it stays at the end, and I like that.
Yeah, I did too, Zach. And I kept trying to think about what it was, and I likened it to jazz music, and then I thought maybe it's like, is it ska or
like improv or something?
Yes, it's totally improvisational. It felt so off the cuff, and it sounded that way, and it was just fun. It really was. It was fun. It went all over the place, and it was fun. Now, I know, Zach, as far as the way we've set up and pulled for our shows and stuff, we didn't put things in order or anything like that. They come to us in an order on the reading list, and we pull from them that way, is what you were doing. But this one, ending a show, was a great ending, I thought, because we covered a lot of ground. And that's one thing I want to mention about the shows. And you and I have talked at length about how we should produce these shows and what they should do. And we've settled on together the reading list and populating it and not having a theme or a subject necessarily for this up down emotional swing. And we sure did it with these 8 poems today. We went everywhere, didn't we?
Definitely. Oh man, whole range, spectrum.
So nice, wasn't it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What do you think about the show without hearing it back? What do you think about what we did and the contributions of the poets here?
everyone was amazing. It was a joy to read everyone's work, and I um, and represent the group. It was a good time.
This group, Zach, it's a great group of poets. Even though we were only at 31, I think, as of now, it's a great group of poets that come from so many directions. And I think our podcast here that represents the group is representing the group very well. I can't wait till we get to full lengths here. We're only a week away from doing the real thing, Zach.
Mm-hmm.
No more test episodes. And I feel like you are doing a fabulous job, sir. You really are. We're learning how to do this together. Can't wait till we get a third person to join us here and do this stuff. And we have some volunteers from within the group. But group, when you listen to this, I want you to know doing this is very gratifying and fulfilling. And I hope every single one of you, if you have the inkling to do it, contact us, message us on All Poetry, and we'll work things out and we'll get you up here and we'll help you through it. And it's not scary at all when you start doing it. It's just me and my friend sitting here talking about poetry. That's all it is. And it's a pure joy. It really is, Zach. So we're going to, because we went out on that poem, we should have transitioned real nicely to this part of the show. You know what that means, Zach? We get to talk over some smooth jazz on the way out. Zach, do you got anything to add, man? Anything with the show or anything with the responsibilities that you're taking on with the reading list and stuff like that? Let folks know they can reach out to you, whatever, if they have any questions about anything.
Absolutely. And the topic board too is always up there for people to check out and browse at their leisure. There's a lot of cool stuff up there.
Yeah, there's more cool stuff by the day. We're getting suggestions from everybody. Zach and I are working hard, as well as Yumpy and Merv, at doing the things we're doing to make it better for the group, guys. And we all love what we're doing. You'll love it too. And just remember, every time, Parchies, this does not happen without all of you. So we're always going to be honored that you let us read your poetry and comment on it and share it in this forum. Hey, Zach, next time's for real, man.
Absolutely. Be a good time, man.
You have a good rest of the weekend. I'm going to get this published here before too long. That way we can listen to it and see what we did good and what we did not so good. I feel pretty good about it, though, Zach.
Oh, me too, man.
All right. You have a good rest of your day. Parchies, we'll see you. Thanks for the poetry.